Welcome to Edge Predictions, where we use data to find your edge in NFL betting. I'm Fabio, and today we're breaking down Week 10. This is a unique slate where the traditional spread plays didn't pass our convergence test, so we're pivoting entirely to high-value player props. When the model conflicts with sharp money, we don't force it, we find the edge elsewhere. Let's get straight into it. Today, we've got 3 high-confidence prop recommendations, all scoring 70 or above on our convergence scale. That means the quantitative metrics, the contextual factors, and the market signals are all aligned. 2 of these plays are in the Falcons Colts game, and one's in Ravens Vikings. Let me walk you through why these props offer the cleanest value on the slate. Let's start with the highest conviction play of the week. Jonathan Taylor over 94.5 rushing yards. Confidence score 85 out of 100. This is our lock. Here's why this prop checks every box. First, the baseline. Taylor's averaging 99.4 rushing yards per game this season. He's the league leader. The line's set at 94.5, which is already below his average. That's your first signal. Second, the matchup. Indianapolis ranks first in the NFL in rushing EPA. That's expected points added per rush attempt. They're the most efficient ground attack in football. Atlanta's defense? They're allowing 124.4 rushing yards per game, ranked 23rd. That's not just a good matchup. That's an elite mismatch. Third, the game script. The Colts are favored by 6.5 points at home. When you're the favorite with a lead, what do? You run the ball. You control the clock. You lean on your best offensive weapon. That's Jonathan Taylor. He's going to see heavy volume in the second half to salt this game away. Now here's the final piece that pushes this to 85 confidence. Regression to the mean. Taylor had an uncharacteristic down game in Week 9. Just 45 rushing yards against a tough Pittsburgh defense. But here's the thing about elite backs. They don't stay down. After a below-average performance, they bounce back, especially in a favorable matchup. And there's one more contextual wrinkle that actually helps this prop. The Colts lost their defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner, to injured reserve. That weakens their run defense. So Atlanta's offense is going to move the ball better than expected, which keeps the game competitive longer, which means the Colts can't rest their starters early in a blowout. Taylor stays on the field. More snaps, more carries, more yards. Everything converges on the over. Jonathan Taylor, over 94.5 rushing yards. 2-unit play. Next up, Michael Penix Jr., under 231.5 passing yards. Confidence score, 75 out of 100. Now, this is a contrarian play. If you look at the surface numbers, you'd think the over is a lock. Penix is averaging 239.4 passing yards over his last 5 games. Indianapolis ranks 28th in pass defense, allowing 244.8 yards per game. So the public's going to hammer the over. But here's what they're missing. And this is where the edge lives. The Colts just acquired cornerback Sauce Gardner via trade. That information hasn't fully filtered into the market yet. The line at 231.5 is based on Indianapolis being the 28th ranked pass defense. But that ranking doesn't include Gardner. He's one of the best shutdown corners in the league, and he's going to shadow Atlanta's #1 receiver, Drake London. Now, why does that matter? Because Atlanta's passing offense is hyper-concentrated. Drake London commands 33.3% of the target share. That's 4th in the entire NFL. Over the last 3 games, he's seen 40 targets. Penix's entire aerial attack runs through London. If you neutralize London, you neutralize the passing game. That's the first layer. The second layer is scheme. We talked about DeForest Buckner being out for the Colts. That makes their run defense vulnerable. So what's the logical game plan for Atlanta? Attack that weakness. Feed Bijan Robinson. Run the ball. Don't challenge Sauce Gardner in the secondary. Keep it on the ground. The third layer is regression. Penix's average is inflated by an outlier performance back in Week 4 when he threw for 313 yards. But this is the toughest coverage matchup he's faced all season. Everything points to a regression below the line. Michael Penix Jr. under 231.5 passing yards. 1.5 unit play. Now let's move to the Ravens Vikings game. Our play here is Lamar Jackson over 219.5 passing yards. Confidence score 70 out of 100. Now this is a contrarian play. If you look at the surface numbers, you'd think the over is a lock. Lamar's averaging 214.6 passing yards over his last 5 games. And Minnesota ranks 7th in EPA. So why are we on the over? The answer is scheme. Minnesota's defensive coordinator is Brian Flores, and his defense runs the second highest blitz rate in the NFL at 40.6%. They're coming after the quarterback on nearly half of all dropbacks. Now here's the thing about blitz-heavy schemes. They force you to throw. The best way to beat a blitz is not to run into it, it's to attack it with quick passes, hot routes, and shots over the top. Flores' defense is designed to disrupt the run game and force the quarterback to beat them with his arm. That's exactly what Lamar is going to have to do. So the scheme itself creates the volume we need for the over. The second factor is game script. Baltimore's favored by 4 points, which means this is projected to be a competitive game. When Lamar's in close games, he airs it out. His average of 214.6 is artificially suppressed by blowouts in Week 2 against Cleveland and Week 9 against Miami, where he didn't need to throw in the second half. But in competitive games, where he's had to pass, like in Week 3 against Detroit, he threw for 288 yards. The 4-point spread tells us this is going to be a game where Baltimore needs Lamar's arm. And the final piece? Rest advantage. Baltimore played Thursday night in Week 9. So they've had 10 full days to prepare for Minnesota's blitz-heavy scheme. That's extra time to script hot routes and exploit the aggression. Everything lines up for volume. Lamar Jackson over 219.5 passing yards. 1 unit play. Now, you might be wondering, why only player props today? Why no spread or total recommendations? Here's the answer. In both games, we saw a direct conflict between our quantitative model and the sharp money in the market. For Falcons Colts, our model projected Colts minus 9.5 based on the efficiency gap. Indianapolis ranks first in offensive EPA, Atlanta ranks 25th. But the sharp money moved the line from Colts minus 7 down to minus 6.5, which means the pros are backing Atlanta. That's reverse line movement. When the public's on one side and the line moves to the other, that's sharp action. And we don't bet against sharp money. Same story in Ravens Vikings. Our model projected Vikings as slight favorites based on their elite defense, ranked 7th in EPA. But the market's hammering Baltimore, moving the line from minus 3.5 to minus 4. Again, the sharps are on Baltimore despite our model favoring Minnesota. When there's a conflict like that, we step back. We don't force a play. We pivot to the props, where we can isolate specific matchups and schemes without betting the entire game outcome.
Pivot to props.
Let's recap the top plays for Week 10. Lock of the week, Jonathan Taylor over 94.5 rushing yards. Elite matchup, favorable game script, positive regression, and the highest confidence score on the slate at 85. Secondary plays, Michael Penix Jr. under 231.5 passing yards, bet against the public, follow the Sauce Gardner factor and the scheme funnel, and Lamar Jackson over 219.5 passing yards. Bet on scheme forcing volume, competitive game script, and rest advantage. Those are your 3 high conviction props for the weekend. No spreads, no totals, just clean, isolated edges where the data, the context, and the market all align. If you want more in-depth research and real-time breakdowns, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Remember, bet responsibly. This is about finding an edge, not chasing action. I'm Fabio. Let's get that edge. See you on the next slide.